room to go. Merrill towards the end zone. Lost his lid. Touchdown!
JJ Damo, face on, stay on athlete. Controlling the face-off. That's 3 in a row now.
And we are live in Hempstead, New York on the campus of Hofstra University, University Field. It is the decisive Game 3 matchup between Kellenberg and Chaminade to decide the NSCHSAA Baseball Championship. So glad you could join us. Lance Betta with you here on the Varsity Media Sports Network as Chaminade took Game 1 yesterday, 2-1. Kellenberg then held on for the 4-3 victory in Game number 2. That is why we have the rubber match here at Hofstra today. The winner will walk away with hardware, and it will be quite the battle, as both of these games yesterday were low-scoring affairs that came down to defense and pitching, which really has been the DNA of the Kellenberg squad. And speaking of the Firebirds, let's take you through the impactful players to watch over the course of this contest. And it is the same names that we highlighted a day ago, and it starts, of course, with Lucas Vamakidis, the senior, who leads the team in batting average, hits, triples, tied for first with home runs, also RBI. He made a great catch out in right field to help save a potential tying run. And then Mariano Kasha, the third baseman senior, who's fourth on the team, batting .327. Those are the two guys to watch out for over the course of this contest. Let's flip the script and head towards Chaminade. The Flyers, the 5th overall seed. Nolan Fernandez leading the team coming into this series with 23 RBI. You see him batting over 300, and Colin Anderson over 500, his batting average. He hits for power. He can put the ball in play. Also known for his defense. A 5-tool player, was on full display yesterday. They are looking for him to once again do the heavy lifting, as there is a lot of balance on both of these teams. Kellenberg has 6 players hitting over 300, whereas Chaminade doesn't necessarily have the same volume, but they are an extremely dangerous team that showcased its talent even in tight affairs yesterday. These teams met in the regular season. It was Kellenberg that took the first 2, then Chaminade won in the playoffs to help set up, of course, this championship series. And Kellenberg snapped the 6-game winning streak for Chaminade in Game 2 yesterday with that 4-3 victory. So we'll see whether or not that has any impact heading in to today's contest. As remember, both of these teams utilized a lot of arms over the course of the first 2 games. So they're going in towards the bullpen, their Game 3 starters during the regular season. It definitely changes the mindset a bit when it comes to both of these teams. And all of the arms that Kellenberg utilized yesterday are not accessible because of the pitch count limitation. And I had an opportunity to talk with Pat Miles before the game, and he said he has full confidence in the depth of this pitching staff because they're not throwing these players into uncharted territory. And from that standpoint, he believes that they can limit the Chaminade lineup, keep it a low-scoring affair, and if the Firebirds have to rely on their defense and pitching, that is their comfort area. That is their bread and butter. Whereas Chaminade certainly a little bit more comfortable getting to high-scoring affairs. But I think what both of these teams proved yesterday is that if it is a 5-run or less game, they're not uncomfortable at all. They go back to the basic fundamentals that we saw yesterday, and specifically towards the tail end of Game 2. It came down to the bottom of the 7th. Chaminade threatened, and Kellenberg utilizing its defense. A sliding catch out in right field, a close play at first where Jaden Valdez went full extension off the bag to make sure that he was able to make the play. We will step aside. First pitch, starting lineups coming up as you're watching the NSCHSAA championship game. Game number 3 here in Hempstead, New York on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Parents, your support means everything to your athletes and to us at Varsity Media. To help us continue bringing you the best YouTube coverage of high school sports on Long Island, we invite business owners to consider a sponsorship on our broadcasts. If you own a business, consider a sponsorship for your athlete's team. It's a great way to show support, gain visibility, and keep the coverage going strong. Join us in making a difference. Contact Varsity Media today to learn more about broadcast sponsorship opportunities by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net. Hey parents, Varsity Media is now offering ISO video of just your athlete. Why settle for the wide angle that shows every player on the field? With our ISO video, your athlete is front and center the entire game. This footage will help in creating highlight videos for college coaches to better pinpoint your athlete's play on the field. Watching our video will help your athlete improve progressively throughout the season and may lead to a college scholarship. Varsity Media is now booking ISO videos for the fall, but spots are limited. Contact us today for football, soccer, field hockey, and volleyball by calling 516-403-2050 or emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
Hey, this is Doc Gooden, and you're watching Varsity Media.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Parents, your support means everything to your athletes and to us at Varsity Media. To help us continue bringing you the best YouTube coverage of high school sports on Long Island, we invite business owners to consider a sponsorship on our broadcasts. If you own a business, consider a sponsorship for your athlete's team. It's a great way to show support, gain visibility, and keep the coverage going strong. Join us in making a difference. Contact Varsity Media today to learn more about broadcast sponsorship opportunities by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net. Hey parents, Varsity Media is now offering ISO video of just your athlete. Why settle for the wide angle that shows every player on the field? With our ISO video, your athlete is front and center the entire game. This footage will help in creating highlight videos for college coaches to better pinpoint your athlete's play on the field. Watching our video will help your athlete improve progressively throughout the season and may lead to a college scholarship. Varsity Media is now booking ISO videos for the fall, but spots are limited. Contact us today for football, soccer, field hockey, and volleyball by calling 516-403-2050 or emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
Hey, this is Doc Gooden, and you're watching Varsity Media.
Back here in Hempstead, New York. So glad you could join us on the Varsity Media Sports Network. It is Game 3 of the NSCHSAA Championship Series to decide who's going to walk away with some hardware as Kellenberg and Chaminade colliding. Let's take you through the starting lineup for Chaminade, as Kellenberg is going to be the home team in this contest, just like it was in game number 1 of the series. And the only noticeable change from yesterday is Vaughn Steinert is the designated hitter. Other than that, they are sticking with their normal weaponry, and Colin Anderson is the guy to watch right out of the top of the lineup, over 500. And Danny Naraki also is a dangerous hitter in that 9th spot, who had 2 walks and scored a run in game number 1 yesterday. And they are going to have to solve the riddle of Christopher Parisi. This is his 9th appearance and 6th start this season. We take a look at his numbers. 4-0. He's logged over 25 frames. He's given up 6 earned runs. Explosive stuff. He's got a fastball that can get up to 86, 88 territory. Really good breaking ball. The one problem at times has been location, but if that fastball is crisp, that is going to be problematic for this Chaminade lineup, as he has been the 3rd game starter for the majority of the season, but they then melded him into a reliever as they were maneuvering with their pitching staff. So let's take a look at his defensive alignment right behind him. And this was the defense that I mentioned made some critical plays down the stretch yesterday, specifically the man playing right field, Vamakidis, and then Richie Lavaca at shortstop, joined by Jaden Valdez at first base. Those 3 players, huge reasons why they were able to lock down the 4-3 victory in game number 2, and why we have a decisive game 3 here this afternoon in Hempstead, New York, as we are inching closer to the first pitch. A great turnout here at Hofstra University. There is nothing better than a decisive game in a championship series, as Christopher Parisi will collide with Colin Anderson, the shortstop for Chaminade, who's hitting .523 this season. He also has a team-leading 34 hits. He's first in the league with 7 triples, 33 runs scored. All of these numbers jump off the page for very good reasons. And then when he gets on, 21 stolen bases this season, as that one is in for a strike, as Parisi jumps ahead of the count. Anderson with an on-base percentage of .600, and he tops the charts swinging and missing there, but his slugging percentage at .923. So this is a huge opportunity for Parisi to set the tone right out of the gates against arguably the most lethal hitter in the lineup for Chaminade, as that is foul-tipped. So Anderson staying alive. He's headed to Bucknell, the senior out of Rockville Center, New York. Pat Kemp, the head coach, has been guiding programs for over a decade, and he'll tell you he doesn't think you'll find a more confident player than this young man, and that's going to add a layer to his confidence. Rips one down the left field line. He'll hold off at first base. It's a leadoff single for Colin Anderson, and Chaminade puts the leadoff runner on here in the top of the first. So Anderson, who fell behind in the count,
right fielder, number 28, Colin Cashin.
0-2, he fouls off a pitch and then takes it down the left field line. And as a result, now Colin Cashin has somebody to work with, the right fielder. Senior out of New York, and Parisi, for good measures, is going to keep close tabs on Anderson at first base. Not only does he have 21 stolen bases, he has not been caught stealing. 21 of 21. That's what you call a model of perfection. Nolan Fernandez is on deck, and he leads the team in RBI. So this is what Parisi has to maneuver around. You put the top of the order on, then all of a sudden you get to the meat and potatoes, and the Flyers can say thank you very much. As Anderson's going to go, the throw to set is going to be dropped and not in time as he slid perfectly into the bag. How about stolen base number 22 on the season? And they already have a runner in scoring position here in the top of the first inning. And that's why half the battle is getting him out in the box. Then the other battle ensues once you put him on the base paths. Cashin is batting .250 this season, 12 RBI, 11 hits, and a base hit could very well untie a scoreless knot right out of the gates as Anderson has a sizable lead from second that Parisi is going to make him think about it. And you can't blame him. So Cashin dislocated his shoulder during tryouts earlier this season. They thought they were going to lose him for the majority of the year, and he was so relentless in terms of rehabbing that he was cleared within a week, and he has not surrendered the right field spot as a result of his hard work. As he faces a 1-2 count here. And Parisi again is going to try to second, and it's going to sail it to center field. Mishandled. Anderson now is 90 feet away from scoring the go-ahead run. And that's the thing about Colin. He could turn a single into a triple without even swinging the bat. So we saw him get on with a base hit. He swipes second. And an off-base throw gives him third. And a chopper to short. Fielded cleanly. The throw to first is timed, but it'll go down as an RBI ground out for Colin Cashin. Anderson scores, and Chaminade strikes first with a 1-0 lead here in the first frame. And that's what you want to do if you're Cashin. Put the ball in play. That's exactly what he did. And it was Lavaca who was there to make the out. As that one low and inside to Nolan Fernandez. Second on the team, coming in with a .339 batting average. And that is going to hit him. So Parisi gave up a single to lead off the frame, and then two batters later awards a free base to Hernandez, who was hit by a pitch.
The third baseman, number 5, Danny.
And that'll bring up Danny Aniceto, the third baseman, who just has a knack for putting the ball in play. He loves to play small ball. And we saw that yesterday, laying down sack bunt after sack bunt. Is that one high and inside for ball number 1. Aniceto hitting .250 with 15 hits and 11 RBI. The senior out of Plainview, New York, may actually have an opportunity to swing, unlike yesterday, where he was making sacrifice after sacrifice, and he's ahead of the count here. 2 balls and no strikes. He was the first captain named by Pat Kemp, which speaks volumes of his leadership. He sets the tone and the standard by doing the little things. And if he could do it, then there's no excuse for the rest of the crew not to follow. As that one fouled off out of play. Just a relentless mindset. And that is why he is such a difficult out, because he's not going to swing at bad pitches. He's not going to go outside of the strike zone. He's going to make Parisi work for it here. And Parisi also has to take into consideration another base runner on in Fernandez. And you see that has impacted a bit of his control. And that goes back to one of the things that Pat Miles emphasized when it comes to Parisi. If he has his control, he can compete with the very best of them. First half of the season, he led the league in Ks, and that is going to be a one-out walk. So back-to-back free bases, one via hit by a pitch, another one due to a walk. And there are runners on first and second with one out here in the top of the first. And that brings up Connor Meehan, the fifth hitter in the lineup, the backstop, who is hitting .255 with 14 hits and 10 RBI. He's looking to add to his tally, as Parisi having trouble locating the strike zone. Meehan, the senior out of Woodbury, New York, took over early in the season as the starting catcher after Dimitri Staphos broke his hand. That'll even the count. Initially, Meehan wanted to play in the outfield, but because of his athleticism and his competitiveness and the void at catcher, they said, well, how about we experiment with you? The rest is history. Beautiful placement there by Parisi to fight back here in the count. A huge spot for the right-hander, trying to keep this a one-run game, with Vaughn Steinert on deck. And that breaking ball gets away. 2-2. One of the things that Pat Miles pointed out when it comes to Parisi's control is because he has such hard stuff, at times when you overthrow, you lose the command. And right now you could see perhaps he's trying to fight against that. And these patient, well-disciplined Chaminade hitters are making him work for it. As we're going to have a payoff pitch here, with the Flyers threatening with 2 on and 1 out, as they already drove in a run with an RBI ground out off the bat of Colin Cashin. Can Meehan join him? And the payoff pitch just misses outside for ball 4. So back-to-back walks following a hit by a pitch, and the bases now are loaded with 1 out for Vaughn Steinert, and we're going to have a meeting on the hill here.
Number 7, Vaughn Steinert.
Keep in mind, Kellenberg utilized a lot of arms yesterday, and everybody reached their pitch count. So there's not as much depth. That's why they're hoping for Parisi to milk as many innings as humanly possible as a result of that. And Chaminade, if you're the Flyers, you could have not scripted a better start to this game. You've got their Game 3 usual starter running into control issues. You're now up to your 6th batter in the lineup, and you have already plated a run. But based on how both of these teams performed yesterday, it is way too early to count anybody out. We saw Chaminade rally in the 7th yesterday when they were trailing 4-1. We saw Kellenberg stay mano-a-mano with Chaminade in Game 1 in a 2-1 affair. We got a long way to go to crown a champ. And Parisi still trying to fight his way back into the strike zone. Steinert appeared as a pinch hitter yesterday. The junior comes in hitting just 148. 14 games, 27 at-bats coming into the series. And that'll even the count at 1-1. And we'll see whether or not that could build some confidence here for Parisi. It's just a matter of him finding the strike zone, even if the Chaminade hitters are not swinging. Want to get the count back in your favor, and that's exactly what the doctor ordered, right down the middle. Perfectly placed to play catch with Michael Cotto, his catcher. Can Kellenberg do damage control here and keep it a one-run game? As Cotto stands up a bit for placement purposes, and that breaking ball is on point. He gets him looking as Steinert strikes a pose, and a huge out keeps the bases loaded with 2 down.
Left fielder. Second baseman.
So Jake Matson now will try to play hero, the second baseman, junior out of Sayville, New York, a .250 hitter. He had an RBI ground out in the 5th to score what turned out to be the game-winning run in Game 1 yesterday. Matson licking his chops with an opportunity to perhaps break this game opened early. As he lifts one down the right field line. Will it stay fair? No, it won't. It will curl foul. So that was the first activity we saw from Lucas Van Vakidis, who you cannot talk enough about his effort yesterday in right field. The sliding catch. There may not be a Game 3 here today if it was not for him sacrificing his body. And Pat Miles said he was not surprised by his team's defensive effort because that's what they have leaned on all season long. 2 balls, 1 strike to Matson. As we look at the bullpen already warming up for Kellenberg. As that is Evan Williams. So we'll keep close tabs on that development as that is fouled off yet again. And the million-dollar question here is, if you're head coach Pat Miles, how much of a leash are you giving Parisi, knowing that you're down a few arms from yesterday? This is a do-or-die situation for both teams. The winner is going to walk away with the Catholic League title. 2s across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. A chopper up the middle. Lavaca steps on the bag for the force out, and Parisi dodges an absolute bullet to keep it a 1-run game. Chaminade moving to the bottom of the 1st, leading Kellenberg 1-0. You're watching the CHSAA Game 3 championship game here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Merrill, he's got room to go. Merrill towards the end zone. Lost his lid. Touchdown!
JJ Damo, base on, stay on athlete. Controlling the faceoff X 3 in a row now.
We are back here in Hempstead, New York. So glad you could join us on the Varsity Media Sports Network. We go to the bottom of the 1st with Chaminade leading Kellenberg 1-0 as they were able to plate a run thanks to an RBI ground out. And now Kellenberg, after leaning on Parisi to help escape a bases-loaded jam, is going to try to get their bats going to even this contest. We take a look at their starting lineup. This is the same exact lineup as the first two contests. No changes for Pat Miles. Jack Dursel, the lethal designated hitter. He is certainly a player to keep close tabs on, and I was very impressed by the play of Andrew Noe yesterday out of the 9th spot. More often than not, got on base and really helped the top of the order do damage, so he'll look to pick up where he left off from that standpoint. And they're going to go up against Kenny Melier Jr., the right-hander, senior from Franklin Square, New York. This is his 5th appearance, 3rd start. We look at his numbers on the season. He's logged nearly 20 innings on the season. And it's going to be up to him to help maintain this 1-run lead for Chaminade. If you're Melier, the beauty of taking the mound when you already have some run support can go a long way. As Mariano Kasha, first batter, and he takes a strike to fall behind in the count. Kasha, 4th on the team, a .327 hitter. Kellenberg has 6 batters that hit over 300. This is a team that could easily put the ball in play. And it is Kasha that fights his way ahead of the count. He leads the team with 21 runs scored. 17 hits his second, and he's driven in 15. And just like we saw Colin Anderson get on base for Chaminade, he's looking to do the same thing for the Firebirds. As he lifts one into center field, backing up, and there to make the grab is Danny Naraki, and we have one away here in the bottom of the first. That'll bring up Lucas Van Vakitis as we see the defensive alignment here for Chaminade. We already saw Naraki go to work. Matthew Matapella was very active out in left field yesterday. Anderson, he's not just a lethal hitter. He is so good at shortstop. And Anacito, too, manning third base. Another player to watch. First pitch grounded to second. And the defensive alignment working its magic early on as Jake Matson secures it for out number 2. So Melier trying to work on a 1-2-3 frame here in the bottom of the first. Jaden Valdez, the first baseman.
Number 16, Jaden Valdez.
A 300 hitter, and this once again just goes to show you the depth of this team. He's hitting 300. He's tied for 5th, though, on the team when it comes to batting average. And you're not going to find many teams where a 300 hitter is that far down in the rankings, but he's got power. He's tied for 1st in the league with 3 home runs as he fouls that off back into the netting. There was an open competition at first base for about 1/3 of the season, and then he took the reins, and it made it absolutely impossible for them to take him out of the lineup as a result. He's had so many timely hits as he grounds one to first, and it is Nolan Fernandez returning the favor. One first baseman to another. A 1-2-3 frame for Chaminade. We got 1 inning in the books. We head to the 2nd. You're watching all the action of the CHSAA championship game here in Hempstead on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
This is Jalen Brunson. You're watching Varsity Media.
Parents, your support means everything to your athletes and to us at Varsity Media. To help us continue bringing you the best YouTube coverage of high school sports on Long Island, we invite business owners to consider a sponsorship on our broadcasts. If you own a business, consider a sponsorship for your athlete's team. It's a great way to show support, gain visibility, and keep the coverage going strong. Join us in making a difference. Contact Varsity Media today to learn more about broadcast sponsorship opportunities by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net. It's time to book a Varsity Media Sportscast and get on the big stage. A Varsity Media Sportscast is seen by thousands of people, both live and on demand, from friends and family all over the world to prospective college coaches. Our announcers will help tell the story of your team and your athletes. There is no bigger stage to be on than Varsity Media. Book a sportscast today by contacting Varsity Media.
We move to the second inning here in Hempstead, New York, with Chaminade leading Kellenberg 1-0. It was an eventful first frame for Christopher Parisi, but he escaped the bases-loaded jam. And he'll now try to get back into rhythm. First pitch popped up, shallow right field. And coming all the way over from second base is Andrew Noe to make the grab, and a quick out for Parisi to take care of Matthew Matapella.
Matt, center fielder, number 11, Danny Naraki.
And that's exactly what Parisi needs. Getting Chaminade to swing early in the count and let his defense do the work. Is Danny Naraki out of the ninth spot, and a liner into left field out of the reach of Lavaca. It's a one-out single for Naraki, who had some showing in the first two games, and that'll put one on with one out here in the top of the second.
Colin Anderson.
As Naraki, just a laser out to left field. Let's take another look, and you see, not even sure, even if Lavaca was positioned differently, if he would have been able to make a play on that. It came so fast and furious his way. As we go to the top of the order, and now Colin Anderson, who already has a base hit, stole a base, and scored a run, now has the ability to do damage with teammates aboard, with Colin Cashin on deck. The runner goes. The throw to second, not in time. The second stolen base already for the Flyers. As Naraki came in this contest as somebody to certainly keep an eye on in that department. 4 for 4. So think about it. Him and Anderson have not been caught stealing thus far this season. And now a runner in scoring position. Is that one chopped foul? So it was Anderson doing damage on the base paths in the first that set up the first run. Now Naraki is taking a page out of the top of the lineup's playbook. As Parisi again keeping close tabs because he knows Naraki will take off with blazing speed. And a ground ball to short. Lavaca's there. The throw to first is in time, and that'll be out number 2. But it does advance Naraki to third. So that's exactly what you wanted to do if you're Anderson. Put the ball in play and give your teammate an opportunity to further get into scoring position. So an insurance run is 90 feet away here for Cashin, who had the RBI ground out in the first frame. And breaking ball just paints the outside corner. And the Kellenberg faithful very pleased with that call. Chaminade wouldn't necessarily echo those sentiments. Nolan Fernandez on deck if Cashin can continue the inning. And a ground ball off the mound into center field. It's an RBI single as Naraki crosses home plate. And the top of the order and even the second hitter joining the party here for Chaminade, taking a 2-0 lead in inning number 2.
Now batting, number 21, Nolan Fernandez.
And here's another look. Cashin just got a beautiful bounce off the hill, and then it caromed right into center field, and that gave ample time for Naraki to easily score from third. So the first two hitters in the lineup, Anderson and Cashin have each had base hits in the first 2 frames. Fernandez was hit by a pitch, and that ball gets away. So now another runner is in scoring position as Cashin takes off from second. And this is where the control comes into play for Parisi. Last thing you want to do is award free bases after the runner gets on. And now he has to quiet the man that leads the team in RBI this season. Cashin taking a very comfortable lead from second as that ball bounces and gets away. Holding up at third will be Cashin, as Parisi and Cotto not on the same page here in terms of the offerings, and Cotto tried to put his body in front of that. And they are very fortunate that Cashin did not get greedy and round third and come in to score. But you see, he's immediately taking a lead from the bag. He delivers a strike to give Fernandez something to think about. We saw Parisi bounce back and leave the bases loaded for Chaminade. Can he leave a runner stranded at third? The count in favor of Nolan, 3 balls and a strike. Danny Aniceto is on deck, but Fernandez has to continue the frame, and he does so as he patiently works in the box. He draws a walk, and that'll now put runners on the corners with 2 outs here in the top of the second. As Aniceto, who drew a walk in his first at bat, now has a chance to get on base for the second time in as many opportunities. And Parisi now has issued 3 walks in less than 2 full frames. And that goes back to what Pat Miles talked about, control. That being a huge facet of his outing to determine the trajectory. And another pitch, low and in the dirt. In the first inning, after Fernandez was hit by a pitch, Parisi walked Aniceto and Meehan. But then he got Steinert looking and got Matson to ground into a fielder's choice to short. Can he work his magic yet again? And a ground ball hit to third. They're going to go to second for the force out, and that is going to do it. So Parisi starts in trouble early, maneuvers his way out of it. But not before Chaminade plates another run to pad its lead. It's 2-0 over Kellenberg as we go to the bottom half of the second on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Hey parents, Varsity Media is now offering ISO video of just your athlete. Why settle for the wide angle that shows every player on the field? With our ISO video, your athlete is front and center the entire game. This footage will help in creating highlight videos for college coaches to better pinpoint your athlete's play on the field. Watching our video will help your athlete improve progressively throughout the season and may lead to a college scholarship. Varsity Media is now booking ISO videos for the fall, but spots are limited. Contact us today for football, soccer, field hockey, and volleyball by calling 516-403-2050 or emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
Hey, this is Doc Gooden, and you're watching Varsity Media.
Bottom of the second, we head to here in Hempstead, New York, on the campus of Hofstra University. University Field, the site, and it is Chaminade with a 2-0 lead over Kellenberg. They have plated a run in each of the first 2 frames, thanks to a few walks and a pair of singles, and that has brought smiles to the face of Kenny Melier because he now has an extra insurance run to work with entering the bottom half of the second. It was a 1-2-3 first inning, got a fly out and 2 grounders. Jack Durso, the designated hitter, up first. A batter that can jumpstart things easily for the Firebirds. 364. That puts him third on the team. 12 hits, 11 RBI. He is taking his talents to the University of Miami. The Hurricanes actually just found out they're heading to the NCAA tournament. They'll be in the bracket with Southern Mississippi, Alabama, and Columbia. And a swing and a miss as Melier bringing the Flames for out number 1 here in the second. So 4 up and 4 down for the right-hander. Richie Lavaco, the shortstop, hitting 5th in the lineup. As that pitch misplaced outside for ball number 1. Lavaca tied for 5th on the team with a 300 average. He had a tie-breaking RBI double in the 5th inning of Game 2. And then from that point on, Kellenberg padded the lead, ultimately held on for a 4-3 victory. Well, they're going to have to put on the rally caps yet again. As the count in his favor. Dealt with hamstring injuries earlier this year. Missed a few weeks, but he was dedicated to the rehab process. And he's another player who was able to secure the shortstop position and did not lose his grasp of it. Created a lot of buzz for the program when he was on the JV team. They noticed he's got a lot of fight in him. Showed some good at-bats and knows how to put the ball in play. Had some pressure groundouts that were able to advance runners and put batters across the plate against St. Anthony's in the playoffs. He's been a cornerstone at the shortstop position. That's a great at-bat to draw a one-out walk and give Kellenberg its first base runner. Ryan Langner, senior, hitting .214 this season. Up in the box for the first time today. He's heading to Malloy. Is that one just over the letters to make it 1 ball and no strikes. Sends this one into right field. Cashin is there as he has to back up near the warning track to make the catch. Maybe a little bit more difficult than he anticipated. Nonetheless, it goes down as out number 2 here in the second. Got a little too underneath that one, and that's what held it up for Cashin in right field, as that will bring up Michael Cotto, the catcher, who did a nice job trying to block a few pitches from Parisi to prevent a runner from scoring from third. And speaking of pitches getting away, this is going to advance a runner into scoring position as Lavaca is now at second. So this makes the bat even more attractive for Cotto because a single could cut this deficit in half. You're looking at the first freshman to ever make varsity for Kellenberg. And here he is on the big stage, Game 3 of the championship series, trying to put on the cape. And he fouls that one off. Pat Miles so impressed by the first year said he could very well be the best defensive catcher in the league. Think about 15 years old, and he's playing catch with the likes of Jack Durso, who I mentioned is heading to Miami. And the spot that you put a player like that in, and think about what that's going to do for his development in years to come. Remember, this is him just scratching the surface of what he could do behind the plate and in the box. And right now, trying to work the count down to his final strike. And he continues to swing it away. Foul ball after foul ball. Giving Melier something to think about. And this is the beauty of the game of baseball. The game of checkers, chess, whatever you like to call it, to each their own, that ensues here. With everything picking it up a notch, with a championship on the line. And speaking of elevation, Melier gets another batter looking as Cotto unable to capitalize. He pitches around a one-out walk. Zeros on the board through 2 frames for Kellenberg. It's a 2-0 Chaminade lead on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
For all the latest Varsity Media updates, including our game schedules, be sure to follow us on social media at Varsity Media, the home for New York high school sports.
When it comes to live streaming, Varsity Media does it all. Athletic events, concerts, musicals, graduations, even weddings. Trust Varsity Media when it comes to your live stream event. Contact us today to learn more about Varsity Media's live streaming services at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for upcoming schedules and content, and on social media at Varsity Media.
A 2-0 game as we move to the 3rd inning with Chaminade ahead of Kellenberg. Game 3 of this championship series after they split a pair yesterday. As you see the crowd on hand on the campus of Hofstra University, just on the perimeter of University Field, taking in all the action. And it has been an intense battle, specifically for Parisi, the man on the mound for Kellenberg. Each of the first 2 innings, he has left the runner stranded, but Chaminade has been able to plate a pair as he misses the strike zone on that offering. And if you're Parisi and your head coach Pat Miles, if he could continue to fight his way through and log some additional innings, keep it within striking distance, that would be the perfect script to follow at this point. As Connor Meehan leading things off here. He drew a walk in his first at-bat in the first inning. That was a string of 3 straight free bases that juiced things up. But then Steinert went down looking. Matson grounded into a fielder's choice to short. The .255 hitter looking to increase his numbers. As Parisi will have a 3-1 count that he is going to be dealing with here. And the key on any level of baseball is avoid putting the leadoff runner on. And that has been an issue at times. They're going to appeal, and they're going to say he did not go. So as a result, it's going to be a walk. So Meehan, 2 at-bats, 2 free bases. And now in 2 of the first 3 innings, they have put the leadoff runner on Chaminade. And we'll take another look here. And based on that angle and that vantage point, it did look like he was effective in holding up his swing. So Vaughn Steinert went down looking in his first at-bat as he watches one miss the strike zone. Jake Mattson on deck. One of the reasons why Pat Kemp inserted Steinert in the lineup, righty-lefty matchup, wanted to provide a little bit of diversity in the order and felt he earned opportunities as a pinch hitter. The numbers don't necessarily jump off the page, but you also need to take into consideration the volume is not enormous compared to his teammates, given he is called in to come off the bench more often than not. It's a Chaminade team that has won 20 Catholic League championships. Their last was in 2022. They also won the state title that year, and they are looking to add yet another chapter to some grouping. And that throw, not able to apply the tag to Meehan. And the crowd rooting and hollering for Kellenberg, not very pleased with the first place umpire. They thought the throw got there in time. And that would have been significant because it would have wiped out putting the leadoff runner on. So Steinert now facing 2 balls and 1 strike. I mentioned the 20 league championships. They won 3 in a row between 19 and 22. And in 21 and 22, they beat the team they're facing here today, Kellenberg. So Pat Miles hoping the third time is a charm as the breaking ball perfectly placed on the inside corner to even the count 2-2. Miles admits he's a bit of a superstitious individual. He brought back the gold jerseys a year ago to help commemorate the back-to-back titles in 16 and 17, and he's hoping it gives him a little positive mojo today. As this one lined deep to right field, heading back, making the catch is Van Vakidis. The throw to first is not in time as Meehan able to dive headfirst back to the bag, but a nice job there by Van Vakidis to get underneath the deep connection from Steinert. So that'll be out number 1 here in the third. Jake Mattson grounded into a fielder's choice to short in his first at bat. Going to have a pinch runner here as Michael Gardner is going to come in for Meehan. Gardner, one of their regulars in the lineup. And now he'll have an opportunity to do damage on the base paths. He has 8 stolen bases in 9 opportunities. So he is certainly somebody that Parisi needs to keep close tabs on. And just as we say that, Parisi clearly read the scouting report. Matthew Matapella on deck. And not sure if they're making the change because Meehan got shaken up as he tried to get back to first base. Is another ball heading into right field, caught by Van Vakidis. And they're going to double him off at first base. So the Kellenberg defense, which was on full display yesterday, specifically in Game 2, to hold off Chaminade 4-3, flashes leather and decision-making yet again. It stays a 2-0 game as we move to the bottom of the third here on the Varsity Media Sports Network as we take another look. An in-and-ending double play from the outfield to first base to add an exclamation point here in Hempstead, New York.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Varsity Media is now opening up our schedule to any team looking to be on a sportscast. Watching yourself on camera is okay, but hearing your name on a Varsity Media Sportscast is like you're a pro.
And look at this opportunity. Feldman behind. Jersey pulled. Feldman! Feldman!
The loose ball, Keyshawn White has it. He's just going to let it fly. Oh! Keyshawn White from half court. That is cash! What a way to end the third quarter.
Look at this. Merrill. No slide. No problem. Gary Merrill goes top corner.
Varsity Media offers sports coverage for any sport, and our coverage airs live and on demand so everyone can watch the game. Now is the time to be a star on Varsity Media. Contact us to book a sportscast today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. You're watching Varsity Media, New York's high school sports network.
We move to the bottom of the third here in Hempstead, New York, with Chaminade leading Kellenberg 2-0, and a great inning-ending double play to end the top half of this frame. And it was Van Vakitas who had back-to-back flyouts, and then Gardner got a little too greedy and wound up nearly at third, and obviously as a result of the catch, he was not going to get back to first base. So now Kellenberg's offense looking to complement its defense as that pitch fouled off. Carson Fessler, the center fielder, leading off with Andrew Noe. And then we go to the top of the order with Mariano Kasha. Those are the three due up. They're still looking for their first hit of the afternoon. Last frame, they put a runner on for the first time. It was Lavaca drawing a one-out walk. But Melier able to wipe that out with a flyout and a strikeout. Fessler, a .227 hitter with 5 hits and 4 RBI. As he drops back following that offering to make it 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fessler has established himself in center field after they were experimenting in that department as he launches one deep to right field, and that is going to drop in for a hit and bounce up against the wall. He heads to second. He wants more. He's going to slide in head first at third. It's a leadoff triple off the bat of Carson Fessler, and Kellenberg showing signs of life here in the bottom of the third inning with a run 90 feet away from cutting this score in half. And that is the first connection of the day for Kellenberg, and a much-needed one. As we take a look, got right underneath that offering and put it out of the reach of the defense for Chaminade, and then stepped on the gas. A magnificent at-bat as Cashin had to hustle back to the wall at the last second. As we take yet another glance, as you're going to see, Cashin came in initially, then he went out, and nearly the line drive is caught it short. It's mishandled, so a run will come in to score. It's a 2-1 ball game as the 9th hitter in the order again delivers in back-to-back games. Andrew Noe with a rocket to short. Colin Anderson made a valiant effort, but it'll go down as an infield connection. It drives in a run, and we got a ball game here in the bottom of the third. So the bottom of the order, the 8th and the 9th hitters with a triple and a single. And now Melier, who was in cruise control, now has to regroup as he has to solve the top of the order. Mariano Kasha flied out to center in his first at bat, and he takes a strike on the outside corner. So here is the last at bat, and you see Anderson trying to go full extension, just couldn't handle it. And as a result, that gave Fessler a lift home. Now, if you are Pat Miles right now, you have to be elated to see the production from the bottom of the order as the top of the order goes deep to right field over the head of Cashin. A runner is going to round third. The throw home is not in time. It's an RBI triple off the bat of Kasha, who slides in safely at third. And we've got a tie game at 2 as the top of the order picking up where the bottom of the order left off. And Kellenberg has wiped out a 2-0 deficit here in the bottom of the third. What a miraculous turn of events by the Kellenberg Firebirds. As now a meeting on the hill for Chaminade, and here is Kasha testing again Cashin. And just like his teammates earlier, stepped on the gas. The relay throw was in line, but just not in time, as Noe was able to sneak in right before the tag. So Fessler with a triple. He came in to score on a base hit. And then Kasha delivering just like Fessler. This is a Kellenberg squad that had no hits entering the third inning. They now have put together 3 straight. And Van Vakitas is going to take a strike. So maybe those gold jerseys, after all, providing a lift, as Pat Miles intended. They also, speaking of superstition, are in the same dugout that they were back in 16 and 17 when they won consecutive titles. A chopper to short. Anderson snags that one. And that'll go down as a much-needed out number 1. And it was an important defensive presence there by Anderson because it keeps Kasha at third and prevented the go-ahead run from coming in to score. So here is Jaden Valdez. He grounded out to first base in his first at-bat. And like his teammates, he's going to watch one enter the strike zone to fall behind to the count 0-1. And he'll fall behind 0-2, fouling it off. Valdez is the individual who has showcased power this season with 3 home runs. And he's going to patiently await one in the strike zone to try to fight his way back into the count. Valdez stretched out at first base to secure the 4-3 victory in Game 2. And now he's trying to put Kellenberg in front and untie a 2-2 knot with the go-ahead run 90 feet away. A little chin music there, and we'll have a full count. Jack Durso is on deck. The designated hitter hitting cleanup today. Valdez with a foul ball down the line as it just rolled foul. A remarkable turn of events in case you're just joining us. It was a 2-0 game entering the bottom of the third, and Kellenberg has responded with 3 hits and 2 runs. All started with Carson Fessler's leadoff triple, and he came in to score on Andrew Noe's liner to short for a base hit. And Valdez swings and misses for out number 2. So Melier fighting his way back in this frame. After 3 straight hits, he gets Van Vakitas to ground out to short and then blows one past Valdez. So he's still trying to keep that potential go-ahead run stranded. Jack Durso, he struck him out his first at bat. And Durso mistimes his swing there. Durso, a two-way player. He was on the mound in game number 1 yesterday. And this count in favor of Melier. He's one strike away from keeping this game tied. The 0-2 offering. And it's sent into left field. And there to make the catch is Manapella. So the outfielders go through an adventure in the bottom of the third. But that is after Kellenberg swings for the fences and then puts a clinic on the base paths. They score a pair. We're tied at 2, heading to the 4th on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
This is Jalen Brunson. You're watching Varsity Media.
Parents, your support means everything to your athletes and to us at Varsity Media. To help us continue bringing you the best YouTube coverage of high school sports on Long Island, we invite business owners to consider a sponsorship on our broadcasts. If you own a business, consider a sponsorship for your athlete's team. It's a great way to show support, gain visibility, and keep the coverage going strong. Join us in making a difference. Contact Varsity Media today to learn more about broadcast sponsorship opportunities by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net. It's time to book a Varsity Media Sportscast and get on the big stage. A Varsity Media Sportscast is seen by thousands of people, both live and on demand, from friends and family all over the world to prospective college coaches. Our announcers will help tell the story of your team and your athletes. There is no bigger stage to be on than Varsity Media. Book a sportscast today by contacting Varsity Media.
This is turned into some game here to decide the NSCHSAA championship. Game number 3. And we are tied at 2 as we move to the 4th inning between Chaminade and Kellenberg. As Kellenberg igniting its bats in the bottom of the 3rd inning to tie this game at 2. And now Chaminade will look to respond with Matthew Manapella, who recorded the final out of the previous frame out in left field. Danny Naraki and Colin Anderson due up. As Parisi has that pitch get away from him. And you look at this game through the lens of Parisi. Was having some control issues, wiggling out of jams in each of the first 2 innings, but he kept it a 2-0 game, and it's worth revisiting because then his bats rewarded him. And if he doesn't do that, especially with the bases loaded in the first inning, who knows where this game is right now, as that one hit Manapella. So that'll put the leadoff runner on yet again. And that has been a problematic theme. In the first inning, Anderson singled. To lead off the 3rd, Meehan drew a walk. And now Manapella in the 4th hit by a pitch. So 3 of the first 4 frames, the leadoff runner has been put on for Chaminade. Here's Naraki. He had a base hit, and he stole a base in the 2nd. As Manapella leading off from first. Giving Parisi something to think about. And that breaking ball well executed to give him an 0-2 advantage. Naraki, the senior, out of Rockville Center, New York. the ninth hitter for both of these teams, has been electric throughout this series. And the crowd for Kellenberg thought that would have done it, but instead the at-bat will continue. Naraki was preseason all Long Island selection. He's arguably the best athlete, fastest kid on the team. As Parisi and Valdez play catch at first. Pat Kemp actually jokes that every time he gets on base, it's a double or a triple because he could steal any bag with the best of them. Well, right now, he has to solve Parisi. And the ball gets away from Cotto, so easily heading to second is Manapella. And that now puts a runner in scoring position with nobody out. Naraki's joining his teammate Colin Anderson at Bucknell next season. So Bucknell is getting the top and bottom of the lineup for Chaminade. As this one is lifted into left field. And a nifty catch by Ryan Langner to prevent that from being an extra base hit that could have easily driven in a run. And we're going to have a meeting on the hill here with the top of the order now due up for Chaminade as Colin Anderson will enter the box with a runner in scoring position and one out. So as a result, they're talking things over with Parisi, how they want to attack Anderson, who is 1 for 2, a base hit in the first inning, came in to score the first run, and then he grounded out to short in the second. And if Parisi could get Anderson out without doing much damage in helping advance check that Manapella, that also could position him to yet again quiet the Chaminade offense, which he has effectively done in this game, at least from a scoring standpoint. Colin Cashin is on deck. He had a base hit in the second inning, his second at bat. And Parisi keeping close tabs once again on Manapella. Manapella has 5 stolen bases in 6 attempts this season. The junior's been labeled as a defensive specialist, but he's proven that he's much more than just his nifty glove work. And, I should add, doing damage on the base paths. And as a result of his offensive production, he was able to secure the starting left field spot. A well-balanced player who understands the game and knows his limitations. Off-speed pitch, high and inside. And you can tell Parisi very careful in what he wants to offer Anderson. Who is so dangerous at various facets of his game. And Parisi just has no interest in giving him something appetizing. You're talking about a player that has hit over 500 this season, and you can understand why Parisi is more than content giving him a free base. So that's the second time this afternoon that Anderson is aboard. And now that puts runners at first and second with one out here in the top of the fourth. Cashin drove in a run in the first inning with an RBI ground out. Parisi's throw to second, is off the glove and into center field, but fortunately, Carson Fessler was in good positioning to prevent Manapella from advancing to third. As it just went right off the glove of Lavaca. Parisi again checking in at second. And he's also checking into the strike zone.
Attaboy, Chris, let's go, kid.
Parisi's been in this position multiple times this afternoon. And for the most part, he has excelled in these spots in keeping Chaminade off the board. Can he do it yet again? It has been quite the adventure in trying to maintain his command. Pitching and defense are the two main reasons why Kellenberg is a win away from winning a Catholic League title. And those are the elements that they're going to have to lean on again. Ground ball to short. They step on the bag for one at second. The throw to first in time. A 6-3 DP as Lavaca makes up for the earlier throw to second. And again, Parisi is able to quiet the Chaminade run. It stays a 2-2 affair. We move to the bottom of the fourth. You're watching the CHSAA Game 3 Championship here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
He's got room to go. Merrill towards the end zone. Lost his lid. Touchdown!
JJ Damo, face on, stay on athlete. Controlling the faceoff. That's 3 in a row now.
We've got a new pitcher on the hill for Chaminade as the Flyers handing it to their ace out of the bullpen, Jack Pfeiffer, who closed out game one with a 1-2-3 seventh for the save. He came into the series with a 2-0 record, a 1.03 ERA as we look at some of his other numbers thus far in the season, and that was his 6th save yesterday. They call him a bulldog for a reason, because when he takes the ball, not many guys want to get in the way. And if you are Pat Kemp, you're pleased that Meliere gave you 3 innings. But now you're going to hand it off to the guy that has done the heavy lifting all season long, as that one drops into the glove of Danny Naraki, as that gap was closing quickly between Naraki and Cashin. But great hustle there by the center fielder. So that was Richie Lavaca leading off the frame. And here's Ryan Langner, the left fielder. He flied out to left in his first at bat in the 2nd inning. Michael Cotto is on deck to round out the 3 that are due up. And this is not uncharted territory for Pfeiffer, because he has been utilized quite often out of the bullpen. So they're not throwing him into a situation that he's not used to. And the one thing that Pat Kemp has talked about when highlighting Pfeiffer, and this is very fitting for this situation, he loves the big moments. He does not shy away from them. And if you're the right-hander, they're giving you the ball in a tie game in the 4th inning with a championship on the line. It does not get any bigger than this. And he evolved into the closer role. It wasn't something that they handed him immediately, as he's working that outside corner, but unable to find the strike zone. And as a result, a 1-out walk earned for Langner. And that is the second walk drawn by Kellenberg this afternoon. The first one was back in the 2nd inning, Lavaca. And that was, of course, with Melier on the hill. So unlike Kellenberg, Chaminade has done a pretty good job limiting the free bases. As Pfeiffer able to locate there, Cotto went down looking in the 2nd inning. And now he has a runner on with Langner leading off from first and immediately having to get back to the bag. Langner, 6 stolen bases in as many attempts, as he didn't learn his lesson and takes a comfortable lead from the bag yet again. So 0-2 the count to the backstop for Kellenberg. And it was the bottom of the order that lit a fire under this lineup in the 3rd inning, when you had the 8th and the 9th batters connect for a triple and a single. And Pfeiffer gets the better of Cotto there for out number 2. So Cotto 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. And now they'll turn to Carson Fessler. And here is Pfeiffer's stuff. And forced Cotto to swing towards the outside corner. And Pfeiffer is a pitcher that can absolutely bring the heat. He's going to throw into the mid-80s easily. And it is Meehan that's able to frame that one beautifully. Can Fessler pick up where he left off at his last at-bat with a runner on? One ball and 1 strike with 1 on and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Now we are tied at 2. And again, Pfeiffer playing catch at first base. And we've seen Parisi adopt a very similar mindset. When base runners are on, it makes him think about it. Chaminade is known for its stolen bases. They have 66 on the season entering the championship series. But Kellenberg, volume-wise, maybe not necessarily in the same territory, but they've got a number of guys that have had really good conversion rates this season. As this one is lined down the left field line, and it's going to drop in for a base hit. So holding up at second is Langner. It's a 2-out single for Carson Fessler, who is 2 for 2 with also a triple. And Kellenberg is now threatening for the 9th hitter in the lineup, Andrew Noe. And Noe has stolen the spotlight in this series. He drove in a pair of runs in Game 2, had an RBI single and a sac fly. And he came through with an RBI single in the 3rd inning in this game. It's not necessarily where you bat in the lineup when it comes to both of these teams. And all you have to do is ask the pitching staffs. They have not had it easy. That one framed to perfection for a strike. Noe coming into this game hitting .371. That's second on the team, yet he's the 9th hitter. He finished 4th in the league in batting average. That's how impressive he's been this season. As he fouls that one off. Pat Miles, cannot compliment him enough, saying that he's an all-league player for this team. And when you think about the strides he's made, he hit 125 as a freshman. And now think about how much his batting average has skyrocketed. As a slow roller goes to third, across the diamond, it sails to first base for the out. So Kellenberg leaves a pair stranded as we stay knotted at 2. Off to the 5th inning on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Hey parents, Varsity Media is now offering ISO video of just your athlete. Why settle for the wide angle that shows every player on the field? With our ISO video, your athlete is front and center the entire game. This footage will help in creating highlight videos for college coaches to better pinpoint your athlete's play on the field. Watching our video will help your athlete improve progressively throughout the season and may lead to a college scholarship. Varsity Media is now booking ISO videos for the fall, but spots are limited. Contact us today for football, soccer, field hockey, and volleyball by calling 516-403-2050 or emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
Hey, this is Doc Gooden, and you're watching Varsity Media.
Top of the 5th inning here in Hempstead, New York. Thanks so much for tuning in to Game 3 of the CHSAA Championship Series between Chaminade and Kellenberg. It is a tie game at 2. Chaminade jumped out to a 2-0 lead with a run scored in each of the first 2 frames, and then Kellenberg responded with 2 in the 3rd. And Parisi is still battling for the Firebirds. As this one chopped foul. Nolan Fernandez leading off. He was hit by a pitch in the 1st. He drew a walk in the 2nd. The leader of the team in RBI. So good in pressure situations. And we'll see how he responds here. You know, one thing that Pat Kemp also highlighted when discussing Fernandez is he's not about the limelight. He's always looking to do the little things, the unselfish plays that helps the team. For example, at a sac fly and an infield ground ball to drive in a pair of runs against St. John the Baptist in the playoffs. And you also take into consideration how good he is at first base. From a defensive perspective, as Lavaca backs up, secures it, and that will lead to out number 1. Lavaca was walking the tightrope on that one. He was waiting for the ball to come to him, and that gave Fernandez a little extra breathing room to try to run it out. But fortunately, it did not bounce the opposite way against him. So here is the 4th hitter in the lineup, Danny Anancito. Grounded into a fielder's choice to 3rd in the 2nd. He drew a walk in the 1st that helped load the bases, but they left all those runners stranded. The senior out of Plainview, New York, seeing if he can maybe untie this knot as the breaking ball is high and outside. Now, NSCHSAA normally plays small ball. Nobody's on, though, so it'll be interesting to see whether or not they give him the green light here, and they do, as he patiently is able to work the count. Yeah, that'll put one on with one out, bringing up Connor Meehan. Meehan has been on base twice in this game with 2 walks. Michael Gardner is going to come in now and pinch run yet again. He's going to lift NSCHSAA. Now, Gardner came in the 3rd, and on a fly ball to right, he got so excited, he went all the way to nearly 3rd base, and they were easily able to double him off at first. So that's another player to keep close tabs on and see what his approach here is on the base paths. He's going to go, and a swing sends this one into shallow center field. It's caught again. He's going to be in trouble, and he's doubled off for the 2nd time. My goodness! Kellenberg flashing the leather yet again as Parisi's teammates continue to work their magic and do the heavy lifting. This game remains knotted at 2. To the bottom of the 5th we go in Hempstead on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
This is Jalen Brunson. You're watching Varsity Media.
Parents, your support means everything to your athletes and to us at Varsity Media. To help us continue bringing you the best YouTube coverage of high school sports on Long Island, we invite business owners to consider a sponsorship on our broadcasts. If you own a business, consider a sponsorship for your athlete's team. It's a great way to show support, gain visibility, and keep the coverage going strong. Join us in making a difference. Contact Varsity Media today to learn more about broadcast sponsorship opportunities by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net. It's time to book a Varsity Media Sportscast and get on the big stage. A Varsity Media Sportscast is seen by thousands of people, both live and on demand, from friends and family all over the world to prospective college coaches. Our announcers will help tell the story of your team and your athletes. There is no bigger stage to be on than Varsity Media. Book a sportscast today by contacting Varsity Media.
You want defense? This game has offered it. You want pitching? We've mixed that in as well, and timely hitting. A little bit of everything as we move to the bottom of the 5th inning. Chaminade and Kellenberg have not disappointed. A 2-2 affair. And Parisi, who has just grinded out every at-bat over the course of this game, continues to be supported by stellar defensive decision-making. And Gardner, who came in as a pinch runner, yet again took off. It was secured in the outfield by Fessler, and he was able to double him off back at first base. And now it's up to the Firebirds bats to perhaps give Parisi some wiggle room, as it's the top of the order here with Mariano Kasha. He had an extra base hit in the 3rd, part of a string of 3 consecutive hits. He flied out to center in the 1st. So he's looking for his 2nd connection of the day. And he's able to stay alive by sending that one into foul territory. Head coach Pat Miles has called Kasha the most important player on the team from a positional standpoint outside of the pitching staff. That's how much he values him as he continues to foul off pitch after pitch. His exact quote was, they have no idea where they would be without him in the mix. You think about he's played all 4 infield positions, natural second baseman, but they can pretty much plug him in wherever they want, and he won't say a word as he bounces that right back to Pfeiffer, who makes the underhanded throw for out number 1. And that's been the biggest difference between Chaminade and Kellenberg. Chaminade has put the leadoff runner on quite often. Kellenberg has not had the same success rate in that department. They've only done that once. That was in the 3rd inning, the triple off the bat of Fessler. So they have always sent their second batter up with 1 out pretty much throughout this game. And you want to start putting pressure specifically on the top hurler in the bullpen for Chaminade, and that is Pfeiffer. Now, they did get a glance at him in Game 1 of this series, so there is familiarity for Kellenberg. Whether or not it pays off remains to be seen. As Van Vakitas, he's 0 for 2, grounded out twice. Once to second, the other time to short. It'll be a 2-2 count to the Kellenberg right fielder, who has been the art of consistency. Leads the team in nearly every statistical category, and much like Kasha, continuing to fight off pitch after pitch. And we talked about the value of Kasha. Van Vakitas, he's a player that you could argue falls a little bit under the radar because of the presence of Jack Durso. Grounds 1 to short. On the run is Anderson, and a nifty job with the glove to make it 2 away here in the 5th. Now to bring up Jaden Valdez. Well, let's look at Anderson, and you can't talk enough about how he dazzles in the box as well as in the field, and that's just the latest installment of his strong defensive presence. Charged the ball, didn't wait for it to come to him. And now Valdez has nobody to work with. He's 0 for 2 today. He grounded out to first base in the 1st. He went down swinging in the 3rd. And he checks his swing. They're going to appeal to first. They're going to say he did not go around. Valdez trying to put a runner on here with 2 outs. As he lifts one into left field. And there to make the catch is Manapella. It is a 1-2-3 5th inning for Jack Pfeiffer as he makes quick work of the Kellenberg lineup. We head to the top of the 6th inning. Still in a 2-2 knot between Chaminade and Kellenberg on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
For all the latest Varsity Media updates, including our game schedules, be sure to follow us on social media at Varsity Media, the home for New York high school sports.
When it comes to live streaming, Varsity Media does it all. Athletic events, concerts, musicals, graduations, even weddings. Trust Varsity Media when it comes to your live stream event. Contact us today to learn more about Varsity Media's live streaming services at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for upcoming schedules and content, and on social media at Varsity Media.
Chris Parisi still going strong here for Kellenberg in a tie game at 2 as we move to the 6th inning. And you have to respect what this right-hander has put forth. Somebody that has been a starter, has come out of the bullpen, has been asked to assume so many different roles. And if you were to go back into the archives of this game alone, we revisit the first 2 innings. They loaded the bases in the first inning after scoring a run. He gets out of that jam. They put a runner at third in the second after scoring a run. He escapes that jam. Chaminade threatened in the 4th a little bit. It has been one litmus test after another, and he has passed with flying colors. Steinert leading off the 6th. Flied out to right in the 3rd inning. He went down looking in the 1st. And the big test here for Parisi, can he prevent the leadoff runner from getting on? That has been a continuous theme for Chaminade. And he induces a grounder to 3rd, and that is going to end that stretch. So a nice job by Parisi to set up Kasha to make the play at the hot corner for out number 1. Jake Mattson grounded it to a fielder's choice to short in the 1st, and then he flied out into an inning-ending double play in the 3rd to right field. That was when Michael Gardner went all the way to 3rd base. As Parisi misses there for ball 1. Matthew Manapella is on deck. That line drive over the head of Noe into right field for a 1-out base hit as Jake Mattson gets his first connection of Game 3. And that perhaps can light a spark in the Chaminade lineup. Manapella popped out to second in his first at bat in the 2nd as we see just out of the reach of Noe. He was hit by a pitch in his last at bat. Right before Mattson had the base hit, I was going to mention that Parisi still looking for his first 1-2-3 frame, and we could put an end to that case quickly. As now Mattson leading off. And Parisi is still going to offer one as it's fouled back into the netting. Mattson has no stolen bases and no attempts this season, so from that perspective, you figure he shouldn't be a threat to Parisi, but whenever there's been a base runner on, Parisi has not slept on them. And just as I say that, on point, it doesn't matter whether you have a recorded stolen base or not. He is not going to allow any wiggle room in a tie game here in the top of the 6th. And that ball gets away from Cotto. So now taking second without any assistance is Mattson. And now the go-ahead run is in scoring position with 1 out. Manapella still looking for his first hit today, following the lead perhaps of Mattson. As Mattson dancing away from second. And Cotto does a nice job blocking that one. Yeah, the junior out of Williston Park, New York, with a huge opportunity here to untie this lengthy knot that was formulated back in the third inning. And that is going to be a bouncing ball out of the strike zone to put runners on first and second. So Manapella, who was hit by a pitch in the fourth, now draws a walk in the sixth. And Danny Naraki, the ninth hitter in the order, who had a base hit in the second, flied out to left field in the fourth. He now has an opportunity to do some serious damage. He was active in game one of this series. He drew 2 walks. He scored a run. And that was a game that Chaminade won 2-1. He could add another chapter to his impressive resume in this series as Cotto has been put to the test. And perhaps a rundown here, and that is going to be an out at third base. A missed opportunity as Matson caught in the crossfire. And that'll be out number 2. And most important for Kellenberg, they get the leadoff runner. So here you see the ball bounced away from Cotto initially, and because of the lengthy lead that Matson took, he already had to commit himself to heading to third base, and he had absolutely no shot as Kasha and Lavaca were able to take care of business. So now that puts even more pressure here on Naraki, with only Manapella at first. If he could get on, they go to the top of the order with Colin Anderson, the best hitter in the lineup. And Parisi trying to work the corners, behind in the count. 2 balls and 1 strike. He is 1 out away from putting the finishing touches on 6 solid innings after quite the adventure in the first 2 frames. And we're going to have 2s across the board. Chris Parisi is digging in. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in a 2-2 game. And if you're keeping track of the defining moments of this championship series, add this to the laundry list. The off-speed pitch just misses. And the Kellenberg faithful is absolutely besides itself. To be a home plate umpire, you're always living on the edge. There's going to be a happy party, and there's going to always be the opposite end of the spectrum. It adds a little bit more to the drama here with a payoff pitch coming. Runner goes, and that gets him. Chris Parisi showing some emotion coming off the hill. Pounds and handshakes from his teammates. That's how you deliver on the big stage. He leaves a runner stranded as we move to the bottom of the 6th. Chaminade and Kellenberg tied at 2 thanks to this man right on the money down Broadway here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Varsity Media is now opening up our schedule to any team looking to be on a sportscast. Watching yourself on camera is okay, but hearing your name on a Varsity Media Sportscast is like you're a pro.
And look at this opportunity. Feldman behind. Jersey pulled. Feldman! Feldman!
The loose ball, Keyshawn White has it. He's just going to let it fly. Oh! Keyshawn White from half court. That is cash! What a way to end the third quarter.
Look at this. Merrill. No slide. No problem. Gary Merrill goes top corner.
Varsity Media offers sports coverage for any sport, and our coverage airs live and on demand so everyone can watch the game. Now is the time to be a star on Varsity Media. Contact us to book a sportscast today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. You're watching Varsity Media, New York's high school sports network.
What a game here in Hempstead, New York, as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning with Chaminade and Kellenberg tied at 2 here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Lance Meadow with you, and I am now joined by a very special guest, none other than the chairman of the NSCHSAA Catholic League, Holy Trinity Athletic Director, none other than Chris Hardart. Chris, it's a pleasure having you in the booth. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks very much for being here.
Well, it's perfect timing for you to join me here because I was just commending how great a battle this has been. You could have not asked for a better scripted opportunity here in Game 3. Chris, how much does this speak volumes of the parity of the Catholic League?
Well, when you have a league that has 7 teams and the first place team has 13 wins, the next 2 teams have 12 wins, and 4, 5, and 6 all have 11 wins, you don't need any more information than that about our parity.
As Jack Durso in the box here to lead things off for Kellenberg, with Pfeiffer still battling him in a tie game. You've held this event here at Hofstra. What does it mean to be back here, and why is this such a great location to house the postseason?
Well, we kind of split our playoffs between SUNY Farmingdale and Hofstra, and both great facilities, both great to work with, great for our kids to play in these kind of facilities, and it's great for the schools to help us out to let us come here.
And it's also wonderful to build it around the Memorial Day schedule as that slow tapper goes back to the mound, and Pfeiffer able to throw to first to put one out here in the 6th inning. I mentioned the Memorial Day schedule. You had the doubleheader yesterday. Why has that been an ideal formula to put an exclamation point essentially on this championship series?
It's funny. I've been at Holy Trinity, and I've been the chairman for over 20 years now, and it precedes me. It's something that when I got here to our league, it was a tradition that was always something that we've done, and it's something we continued, and it's really a great tradition in our league. Everybody knows when it is, and it's a great way to finish the season for these kids.
Richie Lavaca in the box here with a 1-0 count with nobody on and one out is Pfeiffer trying to work on a potential 1-2-3 frame and keep this game tied at 2. The other thing that has been on full display here, Chris, throughout the course of this series is the caliber of talent that is going on to D1 programs across the board and how beneficial it really is to showcase the game under these circumstances.
Absolutely. Our league is very, very special. Our baseball league is very special, and we've expanded a little bit where we're playing with our other CHSAA brethren here in Brooklyn and Queens, hoping to do some stuff with New York. We now have, the last 3 years we've started a New York State CHSAA championship, and the caliber of play, every single top team in our league has multiple college players. And big-time college players. So it's a great sport for us in our league.
As that ball is hit into left field, and Matapella gets underneath it to record out number 2.
So anytime we can showcase this talent in our league, this is what we have to do it, and it's great for all of our programs.
2 players, for example, from Chaminade heading to Bucknell, including Colin Anderson, who I don't know if there's ever going to be a moment where his bat is going to slow down, Chris. He's only hitting well over 500 coming into this game.
With a wood bat, by the way.
Remarkable. It just goes to show you the talent that comes out of the Catholic League. And I want to circle back to where we started with respect to the parity, because St. Dom's, for example, was in first place, right, for the majority of the year. And not to take anything away from the program, but they're not part of the 2 teams left standing.
Right. I mean, these 2 teams, you have the third-place team and the fifth-place team that are left. So that, but again, we said even at Holy Trinity, we had 11 wins. Like, we were tied with Chaminade. We were 2 wins away from being the sole sole possession of first place, but Chaminade was the same thing. So that's the way it was. So really, it doesn't surprise me that these two teams are here, but it wouldn't have surprised me if Holy Trinity and St. Dominic's were playing in this game. So it's really a testament to the league.
Well, it also just goes to show you how every game is so critical, as Ryan Langner in the box here trying to keep this frame alive, because, as you mentioned, the separation for the group was minute.
Right. One of the greatest things about this league too is that just look at the two coaches here, Pat Miles and Pat Kemp. These guys played against each other in the at their respective schools, and Dan Luisi at Holy Trinity and Ryan Dalton at St. John the Baptist, and these guys are all players in our league. They all come back to their schools and again continue the tradition of our league and the value of our league. It just adds to it,
Well, I think it's got to be beneficial, Chris, for the players to see a coach who has gone through what they're going through, who has gone on to maybe play college ball, teaches, coaches. It's, to me, not just a good example, but it's at least a level of relation that could be created between both of those parties.
And it just keeps the tradition of our league, just keeps it going. And probably every coaching staff in the league is filled with players that played in the league also.
I was talking with Pat Miles before the game, and he mentioned he's so superstitious as this ball is lined into center field for a 2-out base hit coming off the bat of Michael Cotto. And that is big for him, as he struck out twice in this contest. And that is going to bring up Carson Fessler, who's 2 for 2 with a triple and a base hit. So Kellenberg is threatening here. We're going to have a meeting on the Hill here as they'll talk things over with Jack Pfeiffer. Let's take another look as Cotto able to get it off the tail end of the bat and then hustle to first base as he admires his first connection of the afternoon. Right before that, I was talking to Pat Miles. You were talking about the rich tradition and history. He brought back the gold jerseys, I don't know if you're aware, to commemorate the back-to-back titles from 16-17. So these coaches take this very seriously. Not that I'm taking anything away from them, Chris.
Absolutely. I remember that. I believe that was Chris Alfalo was the coach back then. And I think he's the guy who brought out these LSU knockoffs here,
Well, it helped rally the troops, so he was able to press some of the right buttons for his team as they have an opportunity with 2 runners on here and 2 out to try to move in front in a game that has been tied at 2 since the 3rd, and this has been a marvelous way to wrap up the Catholic League Championship Series, with both of these teams splitting yesterday. A pair of 1-run games, and Chris, we're pretty much back to where we started.
It's great. These at-bats are unbelievable. I've watched a lot of these games in my career, and every at-bat at the end of these games, every at-bat means so much to these kids.
Fessler is looking to stay perfect. He's 2 for 2. As that pitch misses outside, and this count is very much in his favor, with Pfeiffer now trying to fight back into it. He's a ball away from potentially loading the bases, and this is the bottom of the order we're looking at for Kellenberg right now. Fessler's the 8th hitter, Noe's the 9th, and the both of them have been huge throughout this game, and Fessler does exactly what he needed to, patiently draws a walk, and the bases are now loaded for the 9th hitter in the lineup, Andrew Noe, who was very productive yesterday. As we're painting the scene here, Chris, it's just another reminder, forget the caliber of the teams, it's the caliber of the lineups we're looking at, where you think you could survive the top 4 hitters. How about doing it 7, 8, and 9 here in the lineup?
Right, the pressure on all these kids right now is immense.
And the first pitch to Noe continues a roller coaster theme for Pfeiffer, as he is 1 out away from sending this game into the 7th inning and handing the reins back to his lineup to perhaps put his team in front. And Pfeiffer and his control has been a huge storyline here in the late innings. An 0-2 count. He is looking to close the door and end this threat. He closed out game 1 with a 1-2-3 7th. Can he do it here in the 6th, as that is just foul beyond the third base bag? And Chris, a great turnout here at Hofstra. Fans from both teams well represented.
What a great crowd. And down the left field line, you can see all these people down there. It's really a great atmosphere.
The tension building here in Hempstead, New York. Andrew Noe, a strong candidate for MVP of this series. He can make it even more attractive here. The 0-2 pitch, and that is outside for ball 1. He had a base hit in his first at-bat. He grounded out to third in his second at-bat. So he is looking for hit number 2. As he skies this one high out of the park into no man's land. We have not lacked drama in this contest with every offering and every at-bat. Chaminade and Kellenberg tied at 2 with the go-ahead run 90 feet away.
What a battle we're seeing here, huh?
Tremendous at-bat by the 9th hitter in the lineup. Running out of descriptions, whether it's checkers or chess, I don't think it makes a difference, Chris, at this point. Both of these teams understand what is up for grabs here. As again, Noe continues to make Pfeiffer work for this. Langner is at third. Cotto is at second. Fessler is at first. The 1-2 pitch and a ground ball up the middle, snagged, and the throw to second for the force out is executed to perfection. It is the Chaminade defense with Jake Mattson. Wow. And it keeps this game tied at 2, heading to the 7th inning. Chris, absolute pleasure having you aboard here.
Thank you very much, and thanks to Varsity Media for all the coverage all year long. It's been tremendous for us and tremendous for our league. Thanks a lot.
You got it. Our pleasure being here to bring you the action as we step aside on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
He's got room to go. Merrill towards the end zone. Lost his lid. Touchdown!
JJ Damo, base on, stay on athlete. Controlling the faceoff X 3 in a row now.
Chris Parisi is still on the hill here in the 7th inning for Kellenberg. It has been quite the affair for him when you think about what he had to work through in the first 2 innings. But really, since his team came through with 2 runs in the bottom of the 3rd, he seems to be a different pitcher. And it just goes to show you the level of confidence that you can gain when you get run support. So we go to the top of the order for Chaminade with Colin Anderson looking to get on base for the 3rd time today. He singled in the 1st, he walked in the 4th, sandwiched in between, a ground out to short. And the last at bat, Parisi was not interested giving Anderson anything worthy of swinging at. And he's going to, again, fall behind in the count here. 2 balls and no strikes. The 2-0 pitch misses again. So a 3-0 count to arguably the best hitter in the Catholic League, with Colin Cashin and Nolan Fernandez due up. And Parisi able to find the strike zone as he looks to get back into the count here. And again, dials it up on the outside corner. So a payoff pitch now coming, as Parisi tries to cancel out the leadoff batter. He was able to do that in the 6th inning when he got Steiner to ground out to third. Can he do it again? The payoff pitch, and it's popped up into shallow right field. Multiple players going for it, and coming all the way over from second is Andrew Nohe for out number 1. And that was a bit of dangerous territory because you had Van Vakitis also in the vicinity, as Nohe covered a lot of territory on this play. Here's yet another look. You're going to see Van Vakitis coming from behind and losing his hat in the process as Nohe called him off last second. 1 away. And all of these extra effort plays will add up in the long run, as it was defense that solidified the victory for Kellenberg in the bottom of the 7th in game number 2. Colin Cashin grounded into a 6-3 double play in his last at-bat as he bounces one to Nohe. And this time, Nohe does not have to work as hard. 2 away. So it is the Andrew Nohe show in the box and in the field. And here comes Nolan Fernandez. Nobody on, 2 outs. He grounded out to short in his last at-bat. Breaking ball misses for ball 1. Fernandez drew a walk in the 2nd. He was hit by a pitch in the 1st. A check swing, winds up with a bouncer to Parisi, and an underhand throw for his first 1-2-3 inning of the day. Talk about saving your potential best for last. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Kellenberg with an opportunity to end it in Game 3 of the championship here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
This is Jalen Brunson. You're watching Varsity Media.
Parents, your support means everything to your athletes and to us at Varsity Media. To help us continue bringing you the best YouTube coverage of high school sports on Long Island, we invite business owners to consider a sponsorship on our broadcasts. If you own a business, consider a sponsorship for your athlete's team. It's a great way to show support, gain visibility, and keep the coverage going strong. Join us in making a difference. Contact Varsity Media today to learn more about broadcast sponsorship opportunities by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net. It's time to book a Varsity Media Sportscast and get on the big stage. A Varsity Media Sportscast is seen by thousands of people, both live and on demand, from friends and family all over the world to prospective college coaches. Our announcers will help tell the story of your team and your athletes. There is no bigger stage to be on than Varsity Media. Book a sportscast today by contacting Varsity Media.
Bottom of the 7th inning here in Hempstead, New York. Thanks so much for spending part of your Tuesday afternoon with us as we enter the evening hours here on the East Coast with Chaminade and Kellenberg tied at 2. And it is the Firebirds, who are the home team. They can end it with a run in this frame, as they will turn to the top of the order. Mariano Kasha, followed by Lucas Vamakidis, Jaden Valdez, the 1-2-3 hitters. Kasha grounded out to the pitcher in his last at bat. He pops one up to right field, and there to make the catch is Cashin for out number 1. So Kasha a bit over aggressive, swinging at the first pitch, as Vamakidis now is 0 for 3. He grounded out 3 times, to short twice in each of his last 2 at-bats, to second in the first inning. And Pfeiffer falls behind in the count. 1 ball, no strikes. Vamakidis' glove work is a huge reason why we have a third and decisive game. He made a sliding catch out in right field in the bottom of the 7th of Game 2. It helped prevent the tying run from crossing home plate. How appropriate would it be if he could end it with his bat? And a chopper to short. Anderson snags it, and we've got 2 away. Colin Anderson doing so many little things in this game that maybe the box score doesn't even do justice for, but his defense has been significant. Specifically, helping record some force outs as well, as we see that being his signature move, scooping it up and firing across the diamond. Jaden Valdez takes a strike. He's 0 for 3. He grounded out to first. He went down swinging in the 3rd. He flied out to left in the 5th. So he's looking for his first connection of the day. Valdez, the junior first baseman, who is one of 6 hitters entering this series batting .300 or better. And Pfeiffer handling this scenario like an absolute pro. We brought it up earlier in the broadcast. He loves these big moments. He's 1 out away from sending this to the 8th. And that ball bounces away, but no harm, no foul, as there are no runners on. So Pfeiffer and Meehan can afford to have one carom off. 2-2 pitch, misses. Low and inside. So Kellenberg down to its final strike here in the bottom of the 7th. And this one is going to be popped up. Will it stay in play? And yes, it will! What a grab to end the bottom of the 7th. Nolan Fernandez into absolute unknown depths of University Field. How did he track it? How did he grab it? Fernandez going into the back of the dugout and saying, "Not on my watch," as he flashes leather. It's only appropriate we go to extras here in Hempstead to decide the Catholic League title on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Hey parents, Varsity Media is now offering ISO video of just your athlete. Why settle for the wide angle that shows every player on the field? With our ISO video, your athlete is front and center the entire game. This footage will help in creating highlight videos for college coaches to better pinpoint your athlete's play on the field. Watching our video will help your athlete improve progressively throughout the season and may lead to a college scholarship. Varsity Media is now booking ISO videos for the fall, but spots are limited. Contact us today for football, soccer, field hockey, and volleyball by calling 516-403-2050 or emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
Hey, this is Doc Gooden, and you're watching Varsity Media.
So we have a pitching change here to start the top of the 8th. Chris Parisi went 7 solid innings after ups and downs through the first 2 innings. Now he's going to hand it off to Evan Williams, one of their top relievers, making his 6th appearance. He's given up 3 earned runs over 8 innings. Walked 6, struck out 12. He's 1-1 with a 3.50 ERA. He has not had much work out of the pen recently. He pitches to contact. That's his brand of baseball. And he can get up into the range of 78 to 81 miles per hour. As he is going to try to continue what Parisi started. It's Danny Aniceto, who has drawn a pair of walks in this contest, including his last at bat. And Williams relying on the off-speed stuff to try to keep Aniceto on his heels. If you were Pat Miles and you would have told him Chris Parisi is going to give you 7 innings, I think he would have gladly signed up for that without any hesitation. What he was able to milk out of his starter is that is grounded to third, and that is going to be out number 1. As perfectly positioned was Mariano Kasha at the hot corner. Connor Meehan has walked twice in the first and the third. He flied out into an 8-3 double play in the 5th. That was another one in which Gardner overran things. And a swing and a miss is Williams mixing in his pitches here to try to keep this Chaminade lineup off balance. 1 strike away from out number 2. The intensity of this game is so high, every single pitch draws a reaction out of the crowd. Popped up into foul territory, and a sliding grab is somehow made. One defensive play ups the ante over another in this game. And it's again the outfielders who are answering the call at bat after at bat. Ryan Langner, welcome to the party as he slides in safely and has some grass stains to show for it. And the first pitch is into the gap in right center field, and it's another outfielder, Carson Fessler, coming to the rescue. A 1-2-3 8th inning for Evan Williams out of the bullpen. To the bottom of the 8th we go. Will we crown a winner in this frame? Stay tuned on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
For all the latest Varsity Media updates, including our game schedules, be sure to follow us on social media at Varsity Media, the home for New York high school sports.
When it comes to live streaming, Varsity Media does it all. Athletic events, concerts, musicals, graduations, even weddings. Trust Varsity Media when it comes to your live stream event. Contact us today to learn more about Varsity Media's live streaming services at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for upcoming schedules and content, and on social media at Varsity Media.
Jack Pfeiffer still taking control and command of the hill as we go to the bottom of the 8th. As Kenny Mellier, in case you're just joining us, he started for Chaminade. He went 3 innings, and ever since the 4th inning, it has been Pfeiffer. And Pfeiffer is going to have to go up against the 4, 5, and 6 hitters in the lineup for Kellenberg. Jack Durso, Richie Lavaca, and Ryan Langner, who made a remarkable catch in foul territory in the last frame. Kellenberg, the home team, can end it with the next run and crown themselves Catholic League champs. As this pitch enters foul territory, will it stay in? And it will! Matthew Manapella. Anything Langner can do, he's going to argue he'll try to do better. This game is becoming a defensive clinic with hardware on the line as Manapella also trying to greet the fans out on the perimeter, and he nearly overran it, had to swing his momentum back to make the grab. And if you're Jack Durso, you're saying to yourself, I can't catch a break today. He also flied out to left in the 3rd. He went down swinging in the 2nd. He grounded out to the pitcher in the 6th, and that is the cleanup designated hitter. Lavaca into center field, and there to call off his teammates is Naraki. So 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Just like we saw in the bottom of the 7th, Pfeiffer put the top 3 batters down in order. Kasha, Van Vaquitas, and Valdez. And now he is 1 more out away from sending this game to the 9th inning. Here's Langner. As Langner takes a strike. He drew a walk in each of his last 2 at-bats. He flied out to right in the 2nd. So he's yearning for his first hit today. And it is Pfeiffer that jumps ahead 0-2. The bulldog of the bullpen making his presence felt very loudly. And this at-bat will continue. If Langner can get on, we'll see Michael Cotto. Langner hit .364 as a junior, and he's going to up his average here as a senior. Bloops one into right. It's a 2-out base hit. And the game-winning run is now at first base. So Michael Cotto, who had a single in the 6th in his last at-bat after 2 strikeouts, he now can play hero after he was behind the plate catching all 7 of Parisi's magnificent innings. Carson Fessler, the 8th hitter in the lineup, is on deck if Cotto can get aboard. And the 8th and the 9th hitters have done plenty of damage. They've combined for 3 hits in this game, 2 singles and a triple. And they're going to check at third base. They're going to say he did not go around. 2 balls, no strikes. A freshman of all players in a spot here in Game 3 of the championship contest series. And Pfeiffer checks in on Langner at first. And the 2-1 pitch just misses. Pfeiffer trying to work that outside corner. And Cotto is not jumping for the bait. And a 3-2 count as Cotto this time went for it. And Pfeiffer blew it right by him. Kellenberg down to its final strike here in the bottom of the 8th inning. As the runner goes, and it's sent off out of the park. These are the moments that define careers and define legacies. And Cotto is just getting started, and his patience pays off. It is going to be a 2-out walk for the first year, and runners are on first and second here in the bottom of the 8th inning for Carson Fessler. Cotto's going to be lifted for a pinch runner. They're going to bring in Owen Borey. So Borey, who is known as their most reliable pinch runner, will have an opportunity to perhaps do some damage on the base paths. As we're going to have a meeting on the hill here and maybe a potential pitching change. Pfeiffer has been the guy they've been leaning on all season long. And we'll see whether or not they stick with him, as he's been in since the 4th inning. And based on the conversation, it looks right now as if they're going to leave it in his arm. And if you listen to what Pat Kemp has to say about Pfeiffer, you would not be surprised about this decision. He has been the life and soul and the heart and soul of this bullpen. And if you're going to go out, you're going to go out with the ball in the junior's hand. Carson Fessler has been on base 3 times in this game. And Fessler watches one cross the outside corner for strike 1. A .227 hitter coming in to this championship series. And he's going to even the count at 1 apiece. They have been so pleased with how he has lifted his offensive production. And here's a chance for him to reward the coaching staff that puts so much faith in him. They allowed him to battle it out for that center field spot, and he did not disappoint. He's got a pair of runners on. And a swing and a miss. Two balls, two strikes, 2 on with 2 out in a 2-2 game. Deuce is wild. And a ground ball through the hole between short and third. They're going to hold up all the runners. It'll be bases loaded with 2 outs for the 9th hitter in the lineup, Andrew Noe. And Noe had a base hit in the 3rd inning and has played on-point defense throughout this game. You could argue he has been one of, if not their most valuable player. And if you are Pat Miles, this is the guy you're not complaining about having in the box. Langner's at 3rd, Borey's at 2nd, as that is in for a strike, and Fessler is at 1st. A base hit could win the title. And he lifts one into right field, and it's over the head and into the wall for a walk-off RBI base hit. Kellenberg, the kings of the Catholic League, with a 3-2 victory here in Hempstead. The dog pile ensues, and the number 9 hitter in the lineup rescues them in a script that even the best Hollywood writers could not put together. Quite the scene here at Hofstra University. Andrew Noe over the head of Cashin, who looked as if he was going to make a backhanded grab. And the game-winning run comes into score in the form of Ryan Langner. And what a celebration here at University Field. Let's take another look at Noe's connection just right over the glove of Cashin. And you could see the emotions that go to opposite ends of the spectrum in a game-winning championship contest, where you have the celebration right between 1st and 2nd, and then you have just the heartbreak of Cashin face down in the outfield, as both teams will exchange handshakes here in Hempstead. A championship series that was decided by 3 one-run games. And you can see the crowd reaction. Noe seemed to know immediately that was going to drop in as he unleashes the helmet and then gets tackled by his teammates. It's one of the most beautiful scenes you're going to find in sports, where the team comes to the realization all that hard work pays off. A Kellenberg squad that came in as the 3rd seed claims its first championship since 2017, when they won back-to-back titles after winning it all in 2016. And Andrew Noe, you cannot talk enough about the 9th hitter in the lineup, their second baseman, who all throughout this series acted as if he was the cleanup hitter. It is remarkable how consistently he put the ball in play in this series and then complemented it with just exquisite decision-making in the field. And the Gatorade bath for Pat Miles, the head coach. You could see the elation on his face. I remember talking to him before the game, and the one thing he jokingly pointed out, he said they're looking for just about anything for motivation and superstition, as you see the replay of him enjoying maybe getting a chill or two as a result of the Gatorade bath. And he mentioned they went to the gold jerseys today because this was the jersey that helped them win the 2016 and 17 Catholic League titles. As we look in at the trophy presentation, let's listen in to the public address announcer.
Carson Fessler. Number 30, Aiden Gataro. Number 34, Kevin Hart. Number 1, Ryan Langner. Number 13, Richie Lavaca. Number 9, Michael Monti. Number 11, Matthew Neese. Number 27, Andrew Noe. Number 29, Christopher Parisi. Number 7, Kevin Proscio. Number 21, Eric Ressiger. Number 8, Griffin Sharkey. Number 12, Alex Smith. Number 19, Jack Callan. Number 18, Daniel Tyrell. Number 16, Jaden Valdez. Number 4, Lucas Bambakitis. And number 20, Evan Williams. Before we ask the captains to come up, we have the championship MVP award. Number 27, Andrew Noe.
Back here in Hempstead, New York, is Andrew Noe, just awarded the most valuable player of the championship series. No debate. What that young man put forth over the last 3 days was quite the performance, quite the balanced attack. And hardware is on full display here at Hofstra University as the Kellenberg Firebirds are your 2025 NSCHSAA champions, winning Game 3 over Chaminade 3-2. 2-1 Game 1 in favor of Chaminade, and then Kellenberg winning the final 2 games by 1 run, 4-3 in Game 2, and then 3-2 here in Game 3. Quite the scene, quite the finish. As that is going to wrap things up for us here in Hempstead, New York. We want to thank everybody for tuning in here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Our entire production team, led by our executive producer, Ben Turchin. Lance Meadows saying so long from Hempstead, New York. Kellenberg, the Kings of the Catholic League, with a walk-off 3-2 victory over Chaminade here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.